Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. We're recording this, etc. We're trying to get some slides up that weren't coming up. Just, typical technical things. Um, let's see. So where should I begin? Sam, you don't have my slides yet?
Pulling them up.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining. Um, if you can make that full screen, Sam. Thank you for joining Insurance Hacks. It's a webinar series that we've been doing for a few years now. And thank you for having us. Next slide, Sam. All right. So this is a little bit about Archway Computer. We've been around since 2011. We like to joke we have no normal clients, only independent insurance agencies as clients. So it's not that you're not normal, but your requirements for you aren't normal. So I have over 400 clients, and we've been able to track 27% spending savings working with us. Next slide, Sam. My favorite slide, Sam, the slide about me. So I've been helping agencies not for 36 years, but for 40 years, have literally spoken to thousands of insurance agencies all over the country, and love to have a conversation with you. Next slide. Webinar goal, it's not about selling you products, right? And our services, et cetera. It's about sharing information that we've seen other best practices agencies use to gain a competitive advantage. And my opinion is that technology-wise, um, it's it's easy to gain a technology advantage because so much insurance technology is so backward. And Sam sort of found this out coming from web stacks and, like really cutting edge developers and seeing the tech that's here. Next slide. All right. So if you're going to apply net, and even if you're not, we're giving away an iPhone Air. And that's right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it is really skinny. It's the coolest phone I've ever used. And we're giving it away. They're very hard to get a hold of, but we got one. And we're looking forward to giving this away to one of you. Next slide, Tim. So we've got different ways for you to win. You can enter the iPhone giveaway. You can register for a webinar and attend it. So you're already there. And then book a meeting with us at the conference or before the conference, and we'll enter you again. So 3 times. Yeah, we're going to have a spinning wheel for you to get other prizes like hangover kits, the new AirPods right here, the AirPod Pros 3s. So, and you'll get a $25 gift card if you book and show up for a meeting. That's how much we think you're going to enjoy meeting with me and my team. Next slide. If you're thinking about automation and want to have a call about IT security or anything IT, you want to book it, you can book it with me one-on-one right there. Next slide. Or email me, brad@myarchway.com. So Sam needed a haircut on this day, but he figured it was a good day to take a picture. So Sam leads the Archway's AI and automation services, helping independent agencies like you streamline your operations, eliminate repetitive tasks, and get more value out of the tools that you're already using. Uh, with a background, he has a very deep background in data-driven workflow design and user experience. And he has a deep background in automating his job so that he can be more effective. Um, when he's not building automation, Sam's probably explaining to me how AI works again. So I appreciate that. All right, Sam, why don't you take it away?
Eddie.
And Sam is not my brother, he's my son, just FYI.
Who is the one that said that to you? That
I'm not going to name names, all right?
fair enough.
To
Fair
protect the innocent.
Cool. And we have a Q&A box for when we are going through this, so feel free to post questions in there, and Hannah is moderating it. So she will ping us when there are questions that come in. All right. Can we all see this?
I can see it.
Sweet. Yeah, so welcome everyone. Today, in preparation for AppliedNet, we are going to be talking about how we can start to take those everyday epic workflows, those things that, usually feel repetitive, time consuming, and start to turn those into streamlined AI-powered processes. And we've said this before, the goal isn't to replace people, it's to free up your team's time, your own time from that manual busy work so they can start to focus on those higher value tasks and those true client relationships. So as many of you know, Epic can really start to become overwhelming with that repetitive reentry, those endless emails, those inconsistent follow-ups. Submissions can often feel like you're duplicating the same data across multiple systems. Policy delivery can start to feel like a scavenger hunt of attaching different docs and chasing confirmations. And renewals, those can often start to turn into a scramble at the last minute. These inefficiencies can start to burn out your staff, increase error, and ultimately impact your retention and your growth.
Yeah, and we see it all the time with burned out CSRs, uh, uh, waiting on producers to give them the information that they need, but that information transfer is so manual, et cetera. Anyway, yeah, great point, Sam.
Thank you. But here's the good news. The industry is starting to shift from human-driven to AI-assisted workflows. Automation can now handle those repetitive tasks so your staff can start focusing on problem solving and those relationships. The benefits are clear. It's the time savings, it's the fewer errors, it's the faster response times, and it's the more bandwidth for strategic work. And the enablers, we're going to be getting into these, but these are the Epic APIs, the RPAs, which stands for Robotic Process Automation, Applied's data lakes, and various AI models. And these start to give us the building blocks to make it all feel like a real solution.
A couple points here. First of all, if you want to schedule a meeting with Sam, in the upper right-hand corner is a QR code where you can meet with him. He'll be at AppliedNet, and or you can book a meeting either before or after AppliedNet. Sam, question. So give me for, kindergarten Brad, give me AI assisted workflow. Give me an example.
Yeah, so with Epic, there's a lot of times you get an email come in with a plethora of information that now you have to take that information from that email and input it directly into Epic. And with manual entry, there can be errors. You can fat finger something, you can give a typo. With a workflow automation utilizing AI, we can integrate AI into your email, which then extracts that information and then automatically puts that data in the appropriate record, customer policy directly in Epic. So it's
Wow.
something that can happen directly in the background without you even having to lift a finger.
But it allows you to sort of fact check it.
Yeah, you can always enable what's called a human in the loop step, where before AI saves anything or populates a record that will go to numerous people, you can always have that confirmation step where it can be like, hey, does this look good? And you can say yes, and it will go ahead and do it.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, next slide, Sam.
Oops. So when we start with an agency, the first step is really the mapping. How can we automate these processes? How can we make these things more efficient? So you want to start to identify high volume workflows like maybe renewals or certificates, document every input and output, whether that's emails, PDFs, or data from Epic. And then you start to be able to pinpoint where those manual bottlenecks are, the spots that are starting to slow your team down. And then from there, you're able to choose the right automation approach, whether that's an API for that direct connection, whether that's an RPA if you don't have that connection, or if you just need that data directly from Epic where you can utilize Epic's data lake.
Okay, so Sam, tell me a little bit about the API, the Epic API, and the data lake system.
Yeah, so the Epic API is that direct programmatic connection. So you think of an API as an automated way to get data from something or push data from something. So with an API, you can have that two-way sync. With Data Lake, it's only that one-way sync where Data Lake basically mirrors all the data that is within your Epic instance. And then once we have that data, you could start to build out reporting. You can push that data to another system, but it's really only a mirror of Epic. You're not able to update anything within Epic by utilizing Data Lake.
Understood. So let's talk about there's a pricing component to the Epic API. So I don't quote me on this, but it's about $3,000 one-time fee and about $300 a month. It's a little more.
It's about $10,000 one-time fee.
Really? I mean, I've seen other agencies, some agencies quote me differently, but hey, it's a good topic that I'll bring up with Trevor Bunker, who's the Chief Customer Officer. Really great guy, really involved, et cetera. And I'll bring this up with him because if you go outside the insurance world, um, if you go outside of the insurance world, APIs are free. They're just like, hey, we want you to integrate because it makes our product more powerful, and more sticky in terms of things. So then, when we're talking about data lake, Sam, what have you been told is pricing for data lake?
It's about half the price of what the
Okay.
API access would be.
Right. But again, one way, no injection into applied. So the
Exactly.
good news is they actually have an API. It works. The bad news is they're charging for it.
Exactly.
All right.
And me with my technical background, I am always preferring APIs. but understanding the price and things like that, that's why we've had to develop other ways of going about things like the data lake or the RPA.
In terms of the API, we were being asked, is it depend on number of employees or logins? And the answer to that is yes. I mean, but we've seen this stuff quoted all over the place. Um, so we've seen big agencies where there've been a small price for it, and smaller agencies where it's been bigger. All
Mhm.
right. All right. And please keep those questions coming. Thanks. Okay.
Cool. So now we're going to get into more detail on the automation building blocks. So you think of these as, a mechanic's toolbox. As we were saying, APIs are your clean, direct connections. It's the ideal solution for when you want to pay Epic for these APIs. It allows you to easily get data from Epic, push data to Epic, and allows systems to run a lot faster. Um, RPAs are the way going about things when you don't want to get the API package. You think of RPAs as an AI robotic human that can go on its own browser and interact with things. So it can click on buttons, it can type things into input fields, it can browse to different pages. So you can develop scripts for these RPAs in the same way you would utilize the API to be like, hey, I have this information, go input it into Epic. And the RPA will go into Epic, log in, and input the information. The thing with RPAs, though, is they're a little more, for lack of better words, brittle, where they're going to be looking for specific things on the page as they're going through. And if things change based on how Epic's laying things out, or there's a new page somewhere, what have you, they can error out. So they require a lot more maintenance to make sure that they're always working appropriately and doing what they should. And then the other thing is the data lake, which we touched on. This gives you that one-way sync for Epic data to be able to just have that mirrored database. And with that, you can start to build out different analytics dashboards. You can do more AI analysis. You could send that data to another CRM you have. You could populate an Excel sheet to make additional reporting. Um, so the data lake is the solution when you just care about getting data from Epic, and the API is the solution when you want to start pushing data to Epic. But together,
Yeah, go ahead.
these really start to let us re-engineer how some of these workflows you're traditionally doing start to get done.
So what I'm seeing is, I'm not going to name names, but a virtual assistant firm that one of our clients is using believes that their VA has been replaced by a robot. And I would just be saying to everybody here that if their VA is not sort of customer facing, taking phone calls and things like that, there's probably a robotic process automation that could do what they're doing. And and that's that's a fee that's a non-recurring fee if it gets set up. Now, there might be some maintenance along the way, et cetera, but that's certainly a place to perhaps economize some things. All
Yeah.
right.
And I will say too, RPAs nowadays compared to 10 years ago are a lot better because of that AI backbone. It used to be you had to outline everything to the T for RPAs to go through a web page and do things. But now that they're powered by AI, AI can use its reasoning capabilities to decipher things that are going on to steer the RPA in the right way. All right, let's go on to how we go about automating and some of the additional tools we use. So if you guys have worked with me in the past, you know that I am team N8N all the way. And you think of N8N as a dot connector. It allows you to build out robust workflows and automations to connect one application to another application to another application. So if you were to have the Epic API, that's exactly how it would be built out, is in N8N, utilize the API to get data from Epic, send that data to your CRM. Your CRM gives you back data that you then need to push back to Epic. That whole workflow would be directly built in N8N. And then there's another two tools of Zapier and Make.com, which they are very similar to N8N, but aren't as robust in the terms of functionality that they offer. They have a lot of integrations along with N8N, but they just are more low technical, more simplistic automations that some folks would need to build out.
Yeah, I use Zapier. So we have a 100-person IT company. I am the least technical person at it. And I was able to use Zapier to set things up between our billing system and our CRM system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I could go on a huge tangent about why N8N is the best of the best, but I know that's not what this webinar is about. But they just offer a lot of flexibility, a lot of customization that allows you to build out processes that can really mirror any manual workflow to then make it automated.
And we charge $99 a month to host that N8N product. So
It's
it doesn't
either
matter how much automation they've got going on.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
at
it's either
99.
99 or 125. It's just depending on some of the tools that we're using.
Okay, got it. Got it. All right.
And I see a quick question from Carrie. There is also a monthly fee, which for the Epic API, which that does range based on just size and things like that.
All right. Now, again, if somebody wants to schedule time with you to really get into the weeds or really talk about their specific situation, that QR code in the upper right is what they want to use. All right, go ahead.
So now this is where it really starts to get exciting from my POV at least, where AI can start to draft professional client-ready emails that sound like your agency's voice. It can flag coverage gaps before they become E&O issues. It can pre-fill forms with client data so your staff isn't retyping, and it can start to summarize deck pages or endorsements in seconds. So instead of you or people on your team having to dig through your documents, you're able to get those actionable insights right away without having to lift a finger. That can all be delivered to you in seconds.
Right.
There's so much customizability that comes with automating things within Epic. And more times than not, these manual workflows that we're traditionally doing, there are ways to start to make these things more efficient and truly start to automate your agency.
Very cool. I mean, and my suggestion always is dip your toe in this water, right? I always say that AI is not going to replace insurance agents. It just isn't. But people with AI skills, agents with AI skills are going to replace agents that don't have them and aren't on this path. I guarantee that. So yeah, dip your toe in the water. If you know somebody, if you've got a high schooler or whatever, if you want to work with us, obviously, we're going to customize things specifically on your needs and what the lowest hanging fruit is, um, uh, to, have a a positive ROI quickly. All right, go ahead, Sam.
Sweet. So now I just want to give a real world example. So this was a case study we did for another agency where before we implemented the automation, a CSR was downloading renewal lists, exporting these to Excel, manually checking coverages, typing renewal emails, and then logging everything directly in Epic. It's roughly 6 hours, maybe a day, maybe a week of repetitive work. After the automation, the renewal list is pulled automatically. AI drafts those emails, AI logs those notes, and any anomalies are automatically flagged. That can be roughly a 70% time savings and far more consistent communication. And now this team can finally start to focus on their clients instead of their spreadsheets.
Right. And it's very rare when you can do things faster and better, right? And the lower error rates are just huge, right? So
No.
anyway, totally agree.
Now I just want to touch on compliance and security. Obviously, these are non-negotiables. Every flow we design considers PII from the ground up. Data is encrypted, whether it's through the APIs or RPAs. Every action is logged with a full audit trail, and AI drafts are always reviewable. As we mentioned earlier, we always try to build in human in the loop checks so your staff always has the final say. And, automation, it doesn't replace compliance. It strengthens it by enforcing that consistency and reducing that risk at the end of the day.
Sam, Stephen asks, do you have a solution for automatically, I'm sorry, let's see if it was answered. It's here. There were Stephen, somehow your question went away. So maybe but generally the answer to those questions is yes, that the automation is possible.
So
Uh,
I see it. Do you have a solution for automatically requoting a renewal that has gone over a certain percentage? Um, yes. So, at the end of the day, how this would be built is we would set up different parameters. So what that certain percentage is, and set up a flag where whenever it goes over that certain number, we'd utilize N8N and the API to pull in that policy or that quote. And then we can build out RPA solutions or API solutions to automatically go to those carrier sites to then provide you with a new quote. So it'd be a rather large automation, and that's really how it would work on a workflow level. Obviously, there would be a lot more that goes into it, but totally possible and totally doable to build out.
all right, cool, cool. Next slide.
So Brad, you were kind of touching on this, and this is your famous line where you don't need to automate everything at once. The best path, it's start small, and then you start to scale strategically. You really just got to get your feet wet a bit, dip your toes in the water, and see where these benefits start to come. And over time, you'll start to layer in AI, more integrations, until Epic truly starts to shift from being just about data entry to start being about decision making. And that's when you truly transform your operations and your day-to-day workflows.
Yeah, I mean, it, well, I see a lot of agencies, some agencies, where they bought 15 different products and they're using like two of them. And so I think, you know, if you're thinking about a different product or stuff, make sure that the products that you're using are work right now. And then the second thing, what we've tried to do is we've tried to sort of eliminate products with AI automation and with our CRM system. So we want to simplify here at Archway and with your agency. So it's not all about adding product sets, it's about deleting them as well. So, all right.
Um, but yeah, I mean that really wraps it up for our applied Epic geared automation. Would love to hear if there's any additional questions, whether it's about specific workflows, tools, just AI in general. Um, if you want to explore how this could look in your agency, you can use that QR code to set up some time with me. Um, Automation, it's not abstract anymore. It's real, and agencies like yours are already benefiting from it. So let's start using it.
Yeah, yeah. It's uh crazy, crazy times here. But I just I implore you to start your AI journey, period. And a good way to start it is to have a call with Sam. Um, do you build the automations, or if we purchase N8N from you, do you work with our employees to build them?
Traditionally, we build them over here and we host them within our N8N instance. But if you have employees that want to start building their own automations or workflows, I'm always here to lend a hand and help show them how things work.
So they can purchase N8N on their own.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Um, any other questions, everybody? Okay, so and just know that we recorded this. So if you want to get a recording of this, you can. Just email me or email the invite that you got. Looks like Harry has a question. Can you give me some examples of where an office would require an API?
Yeah, so you would require the API if you truly want to start automating your Epic instance. Um, Whether that's, something happens within your email that you want to automatically push to Epic, you'd want to utilize the API, or something happens within Epic, like say you update something about one of your customers and you want to automatically push that to a CRM, put this document in your OneDrive, send an email out to your team about the change. That's where the API would be in play. And without the API, you're not really able to set up those triggers or that automatic push to your Epic instance.
Now Data Lake, though, it does it every 15 minutes.
Correct, yeah. And the thing with data lake, it does not give you attachment data. It's only like customer record data. So no attachments are going to be flowing into data lake.
Right, right. Whereas with the API, you can have that.
Right, correct.
Um, other questions? All right. Well, again, you can email me, Brad at myarchway.com. If you have questions on anything InsurTech related. Uh, and let's see. Uh, don't you also need an K server to write back into Epic. Do you know that, Sam?
No, I think that's how they used to do it, and now they have what's called their REST APIs, which are all done in the cloud, um, which are just what's called a HTTP request, where you get a, not to get too technical, but an authentication token where you can get and push data from your specific Epic instance by using that token.
All right. Any other questions before we wrap it up? It's been 36 minutes. We'll have a recording of this. And I want to thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. And for those of you that'll be in Vegas, we'll see you in Vegas. We've got a booth, and you should be able to find us. It's a big booth, a big exhibit hall, and a lot of booths, but ours will be the best because Hannah designed all of it. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.